Hey everyone, I'm Jen, and I own a veterinary technician relief business.
And I'm Michelle. I own a veterinary technician mobile house call business.
And you are listening to Endless Journeys, the Vet Tech Odyssey podcast. In this podcast, we will be discussing and meeting with credentialed technicians who have created their own path with business ownership within the veterinary space.
Our goal is to help inspire burnt-out vet techs before they leave the industry altogether through our stories and the stories of other vet tech business owners. Happy Monday, everybody.
Happy Monday. Happy evening. Happy Monday evening now.
I know, right? It's almost bedtime. I got my Golden Girls blankie already. And how about you?
Yeah, I've got my fuzzy, my same little fuzzy that I always have.
Yep. Right here. See, there's Blanche's face. I'm like, yep, got the blankie in. And so it's an interesting show today, right? We got our husbands on.
Yep, we're gonna do a short little Q&A with our husbands later on in this episode. We just thought it would be a really cute idea to make the episode kind of more of like, what is it like being married to a vet tech business owner? So we grabbed a couple of questions and we already did the interview. It'll be towards the end though, but they actually did a really good job. But we kept it short and sweet. And I mean, and honestly, it went so well, Michelle. I think that might be something that we do more often just for funsies, because we had lots of questions, but we only did like, I think, 4 or 5 of them out of all the questions we had.
Yeah. So there's a couple we didn't get to, but yeah. And then I thought Alex had forgot about something. Apparently he still remembers it from like 2013. I'm like, damn, bro. Yeah, right? Like, so it actually kind of brought out like, oh yeah, I forgot about that. Oh yeah, I forgot about that doctor doing that. And apparently it sounds like Alex has been harboring some feelings against some DVMs in my past. So it was interesting. Yeah.
Yeah. No, it was fun. I was a little nervous.
Me
I
too.
have to admit. So that'll be towards the end. So we're gonna just start with our normal segments, and we are not doing question of the week on our main episodes anymore. We will be having our own question of the week episodes that I am going to be trying to spit out either every Thursday or every other Thursday. I'm still not sure. We'll see what the flow is and see how fast I can get them edited and done. But yeah, so hopefully these episodes will also be a tad bit shorter for you guys.
Yes, we're trying. We're gonna have shorter episodes, so we're trying. That way, you guys can listen to it hopefully in under an hour and a half as you're driving on the freeway. So,
Right.
we're cutting down, everybody. We're restructuring. I think is the organization, or is the word I'm looking for. Right? We're restructuring, quote unquote. Yes.
Yep. Yep.
All right. So Jen, how was your week? Like, what's been going on with you?
So this past week I worked, what's today? Today's Monday. So I worked Saturday. I worked Saturday at the ER. And then I also picked up a shift on Wednesday, I think, which was kind of nice. It was one of those things where I cut down to maybe 1 day a week, but also, yeah, I'm feeling a little bit better on some days, and so I'm still trying to help out as much as I possibly can. And again, like, I'm just so thankful for the jobs that I do have and for the clinics that I have worked with just within the past couple of years, because they've given me so much grace with the pregnancy and the fact that they still want to work with me and they still want me around, and they're basically just letting me do whatever I want. And it's really nice. It is so nice.
It's nice.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just like, it's a breath of fresh air and I don't have to stress. So even another clinic that I started picking up shifts for, I think there was one day that I basically was like, I don't know how I'm going to be feeling. I can either come in and work a 10-hour shift or an 8-hour shift. And they're like, that's fine, whatever you want to do. And I said, well, I really am not going to know maybe until like the day before. Is that okay? And they're like, yeah, that's fine. Just let us know. You'll either be there or you won't be. And I was like, oh my gosh, you guys are so great. Like, they're just very chill, and it's just nice. like I said, I'm getting my energy back, and I still really enjoy my job. I still really love my job. So that hasn't changed, and it makes me sad sometimes to even think about, like, when, because everyone keeps asking me, like, "Well, when are you gonna be done? When are you gonna stop?" And I'm like, "I don't know. I really don't know." But it kinda makes me sad when I think about not going to work even just 1 day a week. So, just because I love what I do so much. And yeah, and I just think about, like, all the cases that I do and all the patients that I work with, and then the people. Of course, I love the people.
That's hard though to think about, like, am I coming back? When am I coming back? Like
Right.
the unknown, I feel like, and then constantly being asked, but then
Mhm.
also, too, I mean, it sounds like your clinic is amazing because I don't know any techs that's like, "Oh, my clinic lets me do whatever I want." I mean, there's always that staple tech at the clinic that could bury a dead body under the clinic, and the office manager be like, "She didn't do it." And it sounds like not to that extent, but you kinda have that leeway with your clinic to where they're like, "We know Jen's pregnant. We're gonna let her work when she wants to work. We're gonna respect her pregnancy. We're gonna respect her space, and we're gonna make sure she is safe and warm." Versus, well, it's either this or that, this or that. Like
Right,
they're working with your pregnancy, which I don't think a lot of techs get. I'm so
right.
grateful to see that you're getting it because hopefully other office managers will listen to this and be like, that look how appreciative Jen is to have that clinic and how much she loves it because they're
Yeah,
giving her the freedom during her pregnancy, which is what I would feel any woman would want during pregnancy is just that freedom and not to have that guilt over everything in your life, like not being 100% on top of it.
right, and I wasn't expecting it either. And it makes me, it's like, I don't even give myself that much grace. Why would anybody else give me that much grace? So, just the fact that they have has just really opened my eyes. It's warmed my heart, and it makes me know that I've made the right choice with what I did, and I'm so glad, and I say it all the time, I'm so, so glad that I decided to do this before I got pregnant, because I'm just gonna shout out to every single woman who is listening to this, who has had to work full time being pregnant, and then going just, like, on a typical maternity leave, like, 6 weeks, and then having to go right back to work, like, y like, I cannot imagine what that's like, with how I've been emotionally, how I've been physically, even just still worrying about money, even though I know technically I don't need to worry about money, but that's just what you do, because that's just what you do. That's just normal. So I have to just say that those girls are my heroes, and I can't believe that that's what the majority of what women have to deal with when you get treated just like you have to do all the same things, and it's so different. I have definitely been humbled with this entire experience. And again, just so grateful, and I know that I've chosen all the right clinics, and to be where I'm at, and to still know that I can go back and have that same working relationship. So, that
Yeah.
was that's just how I feel. That was kind of what I just wanted to say for for my segment of just how my eyes have been opened with everything, and how grateful I am.
Yeah. No, that is really cool because a lot of I mean, there's so many of us are women, like 90% of the veterinary field are women. So at some point, a majority of us are gonna become pregnant. So what are the clinics doing to work with us? And how
Right.
are they, holding our safety to high standards, this higher safety for our babies' standards?
Mhm.
And I can say I've only known one pregnant vet tech my entire career that I can think of off memory where I worked with a pregnant tech. And I remember she was working, God bless her heart. She was working up until the very, very end. Like I think she literally popped like 2 days later and had her baby. And she came back, I'd say about maybe 12 weeks later. It was a couple months that she took off and she brought in her cute little baby who now is like a teenager into the clinic. But I remember like she still wanted to do everything, but the clinic was like, no, hold up, girl. Stay the course, stay over here. But I remember she had that fight spirit all the way up until her baby came out.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, and that's how I feel too, because I literally just last week And then this past weekend, I literally had 2 respiratory cases where I had to do emergency intubation. One was a CPR case, and then another one was just, really bad respiratory distress. I think it was either it had a mass on its heart or in its chest, and we ended up having to do an emergency really fast euthanasia. But those were just 2 instances in the same week of just that fast pace, like CPR, emergency intubation, IV catheter, and just that adrenaline rush. And then you do it, and then you're just like, oh my gosh, like, and again, it might sound bad, but I mean, I just love emergency so much. And even though those are horrible cases, it just gives me a sense of purpose to just like to be able to be that person that's there in those times of distress, to know that I'm helping in some way, shape, or form. And so I'm gonna
Yes.
miss that when I go officially on maternity leave and when I'm not working regularly.
You'll be embracing a whole new different type of lifestyle.
Yes. Yeah, for sure. For sure.
Yes. Alright, well, we're here to follow you into the very end of this, like, I wanna see, like, little baby Kretz, like, like, cheering her on from the sidelines, like, "Woohoo!" Like, when she's older, like, it's babies are a beautiful thing, so you're very blessed, very
Right.
lucky.
And I want her to be proud of me and to be like, oh my gosh, my mom does that. Like my mom's super cool. Like that's every mom's dream, right? You want your kid to think you're the coolest thing ever. So hopefully.
My mom did, yeah. My mom was that mom. She was the cool mom. Yeah, I had that mom, y'all, the cool one, the good and bad. So I'm kind of indifferent about that one.
Well, I just mean like just like the superhero, like, oh man, I can't believe like she does that. Like that's really cool. I don't know.
You're a vet tech. Of course she's gonna think you're cool. She's gonna
Hmm.
think you're the coolest thing, and that all y'all vet techs out there listening, your babies are looking up to you saying, "My mommy saves all the animals."
Hmm.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, because that's what my husband says. Apparently, you will hear that later. So,
Yeah. That's so sweet. He's like, "She saves animals." I'm like, "Oh, I love you." I'm like, "That's Alex can't say that. He literally cannot say that about me. He's like, yeah, I try to make her sound good."
Oh no.
You could tell because it's like, what does your wife do? Anals and nails all day. Like, so he's like,
No.
and it's so funny because you could tell I taught him the difference between a veterinary assistant and a licensed vet tech. Like you can
Mhm.
tell, like he's been taught, y'all. He
Yep,
knows.
no, he knows, he knows, yep.
He knows for life. Yes. We
Oh.
made jokes before. He's like, "Yeah, if me need a divorce, I'll just go marry myself a veterinarian." I'm like, "Ooh, burn. Okay, sure."
Oh.
I'm like, "All right, I'll go marry myself a CFO or something. Okay, like one step above you, buddy. Like I'll go to your boss." Like, yeah, we're we're more competitive sometimes.
Alright, well, how was your week? Anything exciting?
Nothing exciting, but I'm in a conundrum, and I feel like any vet tech listening could help me out with this. I might be firing a client who I like, but I don't want to.
Mm,
And I don't know yet. It's been on my mind for like 3 weeks now. And as a business owner, my logical sense is not yet. But I don't know, Jen, help me out here. Okay, so we all get those calls from friends and families. Hey, hey, girl, so you're a vet tech, right? Or hey, girl,
mm,
you're a veterinarian, right? We get those calls from people that we have not seen since high school, middle school. We know somebody who's a vet tech, right? So we're going to call them and ask them. I have a feeling that this is what my owner is doing to me and going
mm,
and taking her pet somewhere else now. I think. I don't know. I've been seeing her for about maybe a year and a half now. And she started off with just this pit bull breed. And I'd say she would call off every now and then. She occasionally got sick or, she would go on vacation. She wasn't a stellar client, but she wasn't a bad client. She was like, okay, she's on my schedule. 80% chance she's going to follow through. You know what I mean? Like, but very nice, very polite. And then I'd say about 7 months ago, she got a doodly thing. And that's where it started to fall apart. I don't groom dogs, right? And we all know doodles, they got to be dematted and fluffed like every 4 to 6 weeks. My theory is that since she's got that new dog, she takes her pitty right along at the same time, which makes sense. It makes sense. If you're going to take your doodle in to get groomed every 4 to 6 weeks, take the pit bull with you, get its nails done. So to me, it makes logical sense. if she weren't going to use me anymore because she's saving a lot of time, she's saving a lot of money. But it's like been steady like reasons why she can't keep her appointment. She's sick, the dog's sick, work, vacation, like every other meeting, or I'm sorry, every other meeting, every other appointment she's canceled in 6 months. But she's still
Oh, wow.
messaging me about advice for her dogs. And I'm at this point, I'm like, I haven't seen you in like 3 months at this point, like maybe two. It's been a bit because she even said she's going to have to cancel the next two appointments for February. We're in February. And she asked me, the last message I have from her, Jen, is she's like, hey, we'll have to probably re-pick back up in March. What do you have available for February? And I had 2 dates in February. She never picked a date. She did not pick a date. But then she started asking me advice about her dog. And so I'm like, ooh, mm, you do you see what I mean? Where I'm at?
Yeah.
And she asks a lot of questions all the time.
Yeah. Yeah. That's
I'm like, "Mm,
tricky. Ah, I mean, I can see where you're coming from. I can see why. I wouldn't blame you if you did decide to just kind of let that one go. But on your contract, do you have something that says that you need to see them so often to be a client?
well, shit, now I will. I mean, I have to put something in there to prevent this from happening
I'm just
because I'm
curious.
that's a good
Yeah.
idea though. I mean, I could put that in my onboarding form, you
Like
know.
like a maximum or minimum amount of visits a year in order to still be considered a
Active client.
yeah.
Uh, yeah, a client that
And then
receives.
exceptions can be made. Obviously, we've talked about that in our contract episodes before that, we're strict with our contracts and then
Mhm.
we're still a little bit we still give leeway, but it's for those specific cases like this one. But yeah, no, I can definitely yeah, that would irritate me if
Yeah.
I mean, I and I'll admit when I had my nutrition business, I would get that too sometimes where I would be like, you know, here's my time to schedule a consult. And the owners would be like, well, can I just get you on the phone?
Oh
And
no.
I did it first, but then I started realizing like they're asking me questions and this is basically the consult. And so no, like we have to do the consult first and the consult is you have to pay me for my
Hey,
consult. And my consults were cheap. I only charged like $25 an hour for my consults. Or not even an hour. It was $25 for as long as they needed. That's actually what I charged. And I went to go meet them.
that's
So
oh
like
damn.
yeah.
Can I get
So
that?
so it
I
was
do that.
so it's like one of those things too where it was like, so those are the things that you have to like show your boundary, right? And so it would be the same thing where I would get an email and they would ask me all these questions and I would say, well, we can schedule a consult. Here's my free time. And then they would just start asking me questions through the email.
Mm.
And I'm
Oh,
like, no, I'm not answering. If you want to have a consult, I'd be happy to have a sit down consult with you and answer your questions, but I'm not going to answer your questions through email. So that one's hard.
I mean, I understand why she's doing it. But again, I can't be 100% sure that's what she's doing. But the
Yeah.
timing lines up impeccably with her new doodle breed. So I'm like, that's got to be that. But I've at this point, like, I'm just confused. Like,
I know. I totally get it, and I understand why or at least maybe you just have to draw that boundary and say, with the amount of appointments that you've missed, maybe you don't necessarily need to fire her, but at the same time, you can't be answering all of these questions without being considered an active client. Um, I think there's a professional way that maybe that needs to be a line needs to be drawn there.
I think you're right. I think you're right on both accounts. I always learn something new every day. And this is why I always say like business ownership should be like, like a team collaboration. Not
Right.
everybody has the same answer and there's multiple ways to attack one situation and have it come out on the positive end. And I think you're right, Jen. I would have never thought to put that in my contract, to be active client status you need to be seen at least, every 8 weeks, which is the least amount I will take on a client is every 8 weeks. Like if I'm either you're 4 weeks, 8 weeks, or you're not my client. And at this point, I don't think I've seen her since. We'll tell you when was the last time I've seen her. And today, everybody is what is today? We're like a few days before Valentine's Day.
Yes, today is the 9th. It is Monday.
Oh yeah, she's gone. I didn't know it's been that long. Well, because okay, so back in December 28th, she asked, I don't want to be too specific in case she listens. But she did ask for two. When was the next one for February? Yeah, I gave her the next dates, which one's coming up on the 24th. And she did not answer. So that was December 28th. And then she did not reply when I said, "Oh, I have these 2 dates available." Then December 31st was when she sent me this long message asking about anesthesia, infection, cancer, teeth, blah, blah, blah. Like a very intense. And I was like, like, no, let's see if she keeps her appointments. So I think that's actually where I'm at right now because I didn't think it was that old. I mean, that's the last time I talked to her is December, giving her the options in February. One's already passed. We got one more coming up. So if I don't hear from her by February 24th, she's not a client because I didn't know
Hmm.
it'd been that long until I looked. The last time I actually seen her, December 2nd. I think I just answered my own question.
Yeah.
I didn't think it's been that long until I actively
Yeah.
looked back.
And then maybe just
Yep.
change something on your contract so that they know. And then like I
Yeah.
said, like with how we said in our contract episodes, it's fine for us to be black and white and be super strict and to take no shit on the contract and then have every situation or every case or every client we can make an exception based on what we think because it's our business and we can
Yes.
do whatever we want. But the whole
Yes.
point of the contract is to keep you in control and to keep you safe and to prevent things like this from happening. And then you
Yeah.
can make a decision based off of the case.
Yeah. And again, her rotation date is coming up. So, you know, I
Hmm.
think I didn't think it was that long because I was looking, I was like,
So
oh yeah, she's coming up.
have you decided, are you officially going to say anything to her? Or are you just gonna, no, you're just gonna let it be and
Yeah,
then change
I'm
your
gonna
contract?
see. Yeah, I'm gonna see if she comes around, and remembers that I gave her this option of this date and this date. If she doesn't remember it, then that's fine. But I'm not gonna answer any more questions for
Which is
her.
fair.
Yeah, because at this
That's
point,
fair.
it's been months, and I'm not and I feel like this burns everybody out, just being a vet tech is, "Hey, you, I know we haven't partied since 2005, but I have a question, like, this is what I'm feeling like right here are those people."
Yeah.
Um, and if I'm not servicing you, I'm not gonna that was a very long question, that probably would've like, she had lots of questions in that one paragraph.
Yeah.
So, I think, yeah, that's gonna Jen, because of you, I'm gonna put that in my contract now. Some sort of activity clause and being considered an active client, like, that's gotta go in there after this because 'cause I'm still learning, like,
Right.
I feel like you're gonna learn every day as a business something new and something not, and hopefully this will help another tech out there who may
Yeah.
find themselves in a similar situation with a client where they're like what Jen went through where people wanted to consult, but not officially consult. They just wanted to chat. They just wanted a few
Mhm.
questions, but not pay for it. And
Yeah.
that's essentially what I have going on here. And apparently this is going to be a thing with owners and vet med.
Well, and I bet it happens a lot, and I'm curious to hear from our listeners to see what they say too, because I bet it does happen a lot, and we get taken advantage of a lot in that sense. And there are some people that I'm flat out totally willing to give advice to, and those are people that are active in my life and things like that. But I've had so many cases, just like you said, but just because there are clients, we always have to make sure that there's that fine line, right? Because there's going to be a fine line between taking advantage and providing somebody with help. And as soon as you start to question, are they taking advantage of me? Is when you already know that yes, most likely they are taking advantage of you because you're thinking about it and you're saying, "Hmm, I feel like I might be getting taken advantage of here."
Yeah, that's what I'm starting to think is she's like, "Oh, yeah, Michelle's about tech," but she's not paying me at all, and before that, there's always been questions in between appointments, like, always questions in between appointments, but now we don't have any appointments, so now there's no more questions,
Yeah.
and if she does reach out to book her appointment, great. If she doesn't and she misses that, "Hey, here's my 2 dates in February," if she sends me a question, I think I'm gonna take your diplomatic approach, Jen, and, you're not an active client. I haven't seen you since the, beginning of December. I don't think it's fair for me to help provide any further advice with your pet. I think it's best that you seek out your veterinarian for these sort of things and pay their office call.
Well, I think that's smart too, because I mean, honestly, if you haven't seen or touched their pet for a certain period of time, then you really can't give the any really appropriate advice anyway, because you don't, I mean, so
No,
much
it's not.
changes just within a couple months of our pets. I mean, they age faster than we do. So I think that's a fair statement and a fair argument there in and of itself. If I haven't placed my hands on your dog in this many weeks or months or whatever, it's not ethically right for me to give you any advice from this point in time.
I'm glad we're recording this because I'm gonna need to remember that as my exact wording to put onto my onboarding form,
Okay.
and apply to situations
I don't
like,
know. I just think of these words. I don't know where they come from. And
"You're
like I said,
good.
like
You're good with your words, dude. Like, you are. You're good with your words." Half the stuff you say, I'm like, "I need to remember that." No. So, yeah, no, I'm gonna be very diplomatic, and I think you're exactly right. Um, I'll let you know if she reaches out to me, Jen. I will definitely let
Okay.
you know. And, yeah, and I just as a whole, as a profession, do not let your friends, family, people from high school, or anybody like that take advantage of your knowledge that you had to pay for and that you went to school for, and they're texting you 9 PM Sunday. They're texting you holidays. My dog's sewing up. Like, if you're going to help people, put up boundaries for that. And it's sad, Jen, because I can put up very healthy boundaries with my family and old friends, and I have literally smashed down people with words just like that with no problem. But clients, I get all soft.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's my gray area. As I'm like, oh, they're a client, I'll be soft. But friends and family, I'll just put the hammer right on down.
Yeah.
I
I will
yeah.
say, for the most part, I have been taken advantage of by friends and family on my own side, and I let that happen. But I will say, so Brett's family asks me questions a lot, my husband's family, and I have no issues at all ever helping them. And I've even had like one of his brothers was like super apologetic, and he's a welder, and he was like, "I'm so sorry I'm doing this." He's like, People do this to me all the time and they ask for advice and they ask me these questions for free." He's like, "I totally get it and I'm doing the same thing to you. Like, I'm so sorry." But I was like, the way like Brett's family is, like, they are so giving and they've done so much for him and they've done so much for me. And just like the whole family in and of us as a whole, like, no one's ever taking advantage. Everyone's just like, they're a community and are always willing to help each other. So I don't mind giving them advice and I don't mind helping them, because I feel like it's the least I could do with the amount of things that they've all done for me and for him. So that's why I say you base it off of your feelings, right? Like, because then I've had other family members who they never really want to hang out with me, and then I don't really hear from them other than happy birthday or Merry Christmas or whatever. And then, oh, by the way, I'm having an issue with Fluffy. Like, that sometimes would bug me sometimes, because it'd be like, that's the only time I'm ever hearing from them. So that's why I'm saying there's a difference. Like, if people are asking and it automatically bugs you, then that's your answer of like,
Yeah.
okay. But if it doesn't bug you and you're more than happy to help and and answer within your scope,
Yep.
then just base it off of how you feel. And obviously, Michelle, you feel like you're getting taken advantage of. So if you feel that way, then that's what it is.
Yeah. No, you're right. And I just needed to talk to you and think it through because now I thought it through. I see it. I know my plan of action. I know what I'm gonna do moving forward to solve that situation. So
Right.
you've helped me create it. Yeah, you've helped me figure my way out through that problem. So problem solved. It's up to her
Awesome.
now. Yeah. Thank you.
You're welcome. And
Okay.
then we have one more, and then we'll move on to our interview with the boys. I'll let you
Our two
take this
awesome
one, Michelle.
husbands. All right. So we did get a review, or actually a positive comment, and it was very nice. So Vibe Vet, if you guys do not know, they're new to the industry. Vibe is definitely shaking some things up in our industry. So to have them acknowledge our little podcast, I thought was kind of cool. And they commented on our LinkedIn post. It was on our Chill and Spill, the swiping for shifts one that we did.
Mm-hmm.
The Endless Journeys podcast is our fave podcast right now. We are excited to delve into this episode. So I thought that was kind of cool that Vibe Vet had noticed us and noticed the episode and said that they're actually listening to us because in my brain, there's the 12 people that listen to us that I know.
Right.
Like I know who I'm talking to when I record. We know who we're talking to. So I'm like, oh, other people do listen. Wow.
Right. Like
Okay.
our little
So
community of people that we know, and we're like, oh, that's it. And then it's like, I know we definitely are expanding more and more, and people who are commenting and listening and reaching out and networking and things like that. And it's cool. And then yeah, that was definitely cool. I agree.
yeah. Yeah, that was cool. So thank you, Vibe Vet, whoever's in charge of their social media. Thank you.
Yep.
That made our day.
Yep, it definitely did. It made our day.
Yes, yes, for sure. And now we have our husbands coming on this. Husbands. I'm First of all, it's funny. Our husbands look alike. I didn't know that until I hopped on. I was like, oh my God, Brad and Alex look like they could be brothers, man. Like,
Oh, it's so funny. I know you did say that.
yeah, I was like, honey, put on a hat. Like, I don't want to see it. So, yeah, and yeah, it was a fun time, and I think it's a good point. It's a good thing to get points of view from your spouses because you don't know like what they're thinking when you come home and you have all this stuff going on emotionally, or you've had this bad day, and they remember. Literally, I had no idea Alex remembered something my DVM did in 2013 that still pisses him off 13 years later. So, yeah, Jen, you probably didn't see my face. I'm like, oh shit, he remembers that. God bless our husbands, our wives, our spouses, our significant
Yeah.
others. Seriously, if you hear this and have you ever gone home and ranted about work and my DVM this and the receptionist that and this client this, they deserve a hug. Hug them. Give them some
Yep.
candy. Just
Yeah,
not from ours.
we definitely wanted to spotlight our spouses because our business doesn't just affect us. It affects them, it affects your family if you have kids. So, we just thought it would be a cool idea to get that perspective. And like I said, we only did a couple questions, so I think it went so well. We'll probably definitely do this again at some point in time because
Definitely.
I think it's also just important to know that it's just a reminder of how much support we do actually have and how much support that you do need from your spouse if you are going to have a successful business as well. I think I don't think it's impossible, but I think it's extremely difficult to 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 start a business and not have a supportive spouse. So, that's what we wanted to highlight with this episode.
Yes. So thank you, Alex and Brad.
Yes, thank you, you guys.
Yes.
All right, here we go.
All right.
Hi, hello everyone. So we have our husbands on the podcast today. We have Bredesen over here. That's
Hey,
my
Brad.
husband.
Hi, everybody.
And then Michelle's husband, Alex,
Hello.
and Michelle here. All right, you guys. So we thought it would be fun to do uh like a little podcast with our husbands. It was kind of around like February. So like almost like a Valentine special a little bit. And we just thought that it would be kind of cool to get their perspective on what it's like being married to uh a vet tech and also a business owner, and just to see how it has affected their lives as well. So we've got a couple questions here. We're going to make it a quick, like 20-minute session, and then hopefully they'll have some good answers.
Yeah. All right. I'm excited. How about you, Alex? Yeah, you're ready.
I'm ready. I'm in the
He's-
zone.
All
I've
right.
only looked at these questions for like maybe 10 minutes, so they'll
All right. So you're prepared.
feel pretty daunting.
You're prepared.
You'll be
Yeah,
fine.
I'm pretty prepared.
I'm kind of scared of what Alex is going to say. Like low key, like I'm like, oh, surely he's going to say something to embarrass me, but probably not today because it is right before Valentine's Day, right? Yeah. So
That's what
Yeah.
that's what
All right.
editing is for. So
I think.
okay. Do you want to do the first question, Michelle?
So first question of the night, husbands, both of you guys, how do you usually explain our jobs to other people, and what do you leave out?
I guess I'll answer this first. How I really explain Jen's job to other people. How she just saves the animals. They they come into her work. It's a high stress situations, and she does a phenomenal job. And she really just saves the animals. That's kind of all I really explain as a vet tech. She has all these terms that I don't understand half the time when she's talking about what she does, and I try to keep up best that I can by asking questions. And the things that I leave out are, yeah, it's probably putting the animals down because it's just kind of sad that she has to go and euthanize a lot of pets, and maybe like the hit by cars and stuff. I kind of just really, I kind of, I don't know, like soften what she does a little bit. I don't know if that's the right way to put it. So that's kind of how I explain what Jen does to everyone who asks.
So I think the first thing I usually do is I have to explain to them what a licensed vet tech is, because other words, it just gets lost in the confusion. So I explain it as essentially like the nurse, but for veterinarians. For what I leave out, usually the fact that we just bought our third boat with all the money she's raking in. But I do tell them that she does nail trims. I leave out the anal glands part usually just because that doesn't seem like it's appropriate in most scenarios. But I mentioned that she like gives animals pills or IV fluids, and then she also kind of like I upsell it a little bit and says she kind of advises them if they should go to the vet if there's something wrong with their animal. And then I also like to mention that she's looking into using the laser surgery for like arthritis on dogs, on pets. But yeah, that's kind of it's usually, like I said, it starts out mostly with explaining what an LVT is, since nobody knows what that is outside of the industry.
Yeah, more like, she just saves the animals. I mean, it sticks needles in dogs. Yeah.
Well, I have to make the distinction between assistant and LVT, though.
Oh,
Yes,
yeah.
Otherwise, people get upset.
Yes, I do. That's me.
Yeah, I feel like I don't get asked that.
Well, Ben's not really into the details. Like, does anybody ask you specifically if I'm a veterinarian or a vet tech, or do you just say she just saves the animals as her job? And then
No,
you just leave it
I
at
say
that?
she's a vet tech. They ask if you're the veterinarian, the doctor part, and I'm like, no, she gets to do all the fun stuff. She doesn't just she doesn't get to cut, I guess, is kind of the real difference that I see
I mean, yeah,
between
that's pretty much
the
it.
doctor and the vet tech. You get to do all the real fun stuff.
Jen, so the way I look at it is when she's at work, if there is a dog that is like halfway dead or circling the drain, like your wife is jumping on top of them to get them to come back to life. And like Alex said, I'm just sticking my finger up a dog's ass. Like Jen does a lot with her license.
Well, no, he said he leaves that part out specifically.
Well, he
Which
leaves that
I can
part out.
totally understand why you would leave that part out, because I feel like people like that would just like get into deeper questions, and then you're answering things way out of your scope at that point. You're like, you
Right.
know what? Like, I'm just no. We're just gonna
I don't
leave
want
that
them to
out.
kink shame.
Yeah,
Kink
exactly.
shame.
All right, well, those are good answers. I like those answers.
I know.
Okay.
It's like
All
food. I
right, they're
should
trained
try.
well. So far, so
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. All right, boys. What are the behind the scenes ways you support our businesses that people never see?
Um, Behind the scenes ways. A lot of times when she comes home, depending on what her mood is, usually it's like a big long hug or having food ready for her because she just tries to starve herself all day. I mean, like, you guys only get like a 30-minute lunch. Yeah, I make her food for every one of her lunches. I try to fancy it up. Everyone at the hospitals that she works at usually get really jealous when I make like pork shoulders or like hamburgers or salads and stuff like that. Kind of being a shoulder to lean on is another big thing, especially if it was like a hard day and she had hard cases. She's able to come home and have that emotional support every single day. And then another way that I support is just by listening to all the crazy cases that she deals with. And I try to ask questions to understand the terminology best that I can. Kind of like that 6-letter word kind of guy. So when she starts saying something with like 15-letter words, and I'm just like, you gotta dumb it down for me. Yeah, those are some of the ways that I support just kind of behind the scenes.
Yeah.
So,
And like you pack for me when I travel.
right. Yeah.
Basically pack
She
everything
would,
for me.
I don't know what she would do
Oh
if I didn't
shit.
pack the
He
cooler
packs
or
the
pack
entire car for
everything.
me. He packs the cooler for all 3 days that I'm gonna eat. He he cooks all my meals for like the whole days that I eat. And then the morning of, all I have to do really is just shower and get ready. And then he already has the car packed for me, ready to go. My
Yep.
pillow and everything. So he does that too.
Gassed up, ready to go. And then, yeah, try to call her when she's out down doing her travel jobs. Just call her every day, kind of letting her unwind and those kind of things. Kind of just being there for her, really.
I mean, especially with Jen's role, with how emotionally draining it is working in ER, to have a shoulder at the end of the day when she's seen some of the things that most people see in their nightmares. Like, yes, that's so amazing for me to do and be there for her. That's awesome husband supportiveness. Love it. And food.
Make sure I'm fed.
Yeah, food.
All right. What about you, Alex?
One of the things, probably the easiest to say, would be kind of just making sure that whatever food plans are kind of made up, or providing that, and then kind of just making sure that she had an okay day. Working with her on, if there's a client that's giving her problems, what type of things maybe you do or don't want to say, or kind of being like a sounding board for some of the fussier clients. And then just, again, any it's all the little ways that you can't really think of off the top of your head, but just little things you try to do, like try to make the drive a little easier, try to just make the day easier when she comes home or before she leaves. I try to get up as quietly as possible, but seeing that we have 2 dogs here, it kind of makes it a little harder. But just anything I can to try to, make the outside of work a little easier.
He left out the part that he does everything that plugs in.
Yeah.
So for this
Well,
podcast, yeah.
yeah, since we're saying for the businesses, yeah, I thought the
That
podcast was a
too.
little bit outside of that, but
No,
yeah.
we can include the podcast. Yeah, for the
Yeah.
Right. It's
podcast.
still a
Yep.
business.
I mean, now
Yeah.
Bread made this. He made this sign for
Yep.
my podcast. Well, his
Yeah.
brother did, but he made it happen. So yeah,
Made it
the
happen.
podcast counts. Yeah, Alex has helped a lot with the podcast and helped Michelle a lot with trying to figure out the sound and all the fancy computers she gets all the time. And every time she has any even we've been at mid recording and she's called him for things. And he's
That's not
at the
working.
ready. Even when he's at work and stuff, he he's like always there at the ready to help her with anything that she needs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, and if we're going to the podcast, all of the banners and everything, I can
Yeah.
help out with all those. It's just pretty much working with them to make sure it's exactly what you guys are thinking before making them up, and then trying to get them to look fancier over time, which slowly I'm winning. So
Yeah, it's all a
Yeah.
learning experience.
Yeah. He's very good with that. Anything that is computer or technical, like that's why I'm so glad I have him because I'm like, honey, it's not turning on. And like, how many times have you heard him say, be like, did you turn your headphones on? I'm like, no. Like, that's happened how many times? Or did you plug this in? Oh, okay. Thank you. Yeah. So when it comes to the podcast, like he does all IT.
Mhm.
Um, and then yeah, the banners. I remember the first time you texted me, you're like, "Oh, I'm struggling to get our first episode banner out with our first guest." And I was on the couch. I was like, "I'll have Alex do that." Oh, what about do? And I go downstairs. I started pestering him like, "Baby, can you do something? Can you do?" And I was pestering him like that. And now he does every flyer that we have for every guest in every episode. So
Mhm. Yeah. It's
that's his
super
biggest
helpful
part.
because if I was gonna do it, it would take hours and hours and hours. So yeah, and it always looks good. So we thank you for that, Alex.
Yes, thank you, everybody who's
We
listening at the
appreciate it.
News. Yes, Alex Kruger, our unofficial plug it in guy.
IT.
She
CTO.
Yeah,
Yeah, that
IT.
guy.
Mhm.
Yeah, he's that guy.
All
Okay.
right. Next question.
Okay. Oh, okay. How has our schedule impacted our relationships or family life? Like what was the schedule like before or after the business? Easier, harder? Like what was it, guys?
I think before it kind of sucked because I'd work 7 to 5, so I was gone before she got up, and then I would come home when she's either going to work or already at work, and she'd do 4 or 5 days a week, and she'd work on the weekends, which sucked as well because always we were always like trying to camp and do stuff, and I have weekends off, so that was hard before we went to Greece, and then when she started this whole the endless journeys of pet relief, she went down to kind of making her own schedule, and it's like, oh, are we going on a camping trip this weekend? And she really took the weekends off, and then she also planned how that work life balance with my schedule so that she would be home most days, and then the days that she isn't, it's just kind of like a me time, which is nice. When she dialed it back a little bit and did this more relief stuff, it's been way more helpful for our relationship for sure.
Yeah, when
Yeah.
we were dating, I was working I think I was working 2 12-hour shifts and then a 16 in order to just make my hours. And then I would work an extra day. I think I worked at another animal clinic at the time, and then I ended up working at like a pet store just to make ends meet because I was paying bills on my own. And that's when we first started dating. And I remember I would get off at midnight, and he is not a night person. He would like drink
Hmm.
coffee. He would like set an alarm. He
Yeah,
would drink coffee and
stay up.
then
Yeah.
and he would stay up so that I would get there, and then he would be awake enough to like listen to me vent about my day, and then he'd be like, "Okay, are we going to bed?" But yeah, it was really, really different, especially when we first started dating, because I was pretty much always working, and I worked I think I worked Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, which were I mean, he
Hmm.
got Friday night, Saturday, Sundays. So it was really a learning curve in the beginning when we first started to date, and then obviously like thankfully now things have changed. But yeah, I'm definitely home way more. So, and that was one of the biggest reasons why I did it. So,
Was because of Brad? That's you so you're the reason she made all these massive, awesome life changes?
Yeah, well, she's always wanted to do something that she didn't have to be told what her schedule was. And so I've always been a big support of go and do it. I mean, the worst thing that could happen was that she would have to go back. I think we've structured our life so that she doesn't have to really work anymore if she doesn't want to. But she always will just so that she can keep her skills up, and she's always just trying to stay busy. And she loves what she does, so I don't think she'll ever give it up 100%.
Yeah. You can take the clinic out of the girl. I'm sorry, what is it? Hang on. I literally just said it the other day to somebody else. I was like, you can take the girl out of the clinic, but you can't take the clinic out of the girl. They just
Yeah, especially ER and emergency.
Yeah.
That one's tough.
Yeah.
All right. So what about you? What about your guys and your schedule?
I think it's actually impacted it a lot less than you would think. Being that Michelle sets her own schedule, sets her own hours. I mean, really, it's just planning things ahead a week or two in advance. But considering most jobs that I guess Brett and I work, probably you need to give advance notice for PTO anyways, unless it's like a sick day. So it's really just can you plan things out a week or two in advance, and that's really the most noticeable impact. And it's not the late nights, or I mean there is here and there of course, but it's not the late nights like when she was doing technician. It's not the employers saying, oh, you need to come in unpaid on a Saturday into downtown Flint right across from the crack den and bring someone else with you that can hopefully, fight off a couple of unwanted visitors.
Oh
So
my
I think it's a lot
gosh.
better than that in that sense. I mean, it's not as
Okay.
bad as you would think. It's actually a lot better than I would have thought it would have been, to be honest. So yeah.
I'm just going to add in here for anybody or you guys who are listening. I worked for a doctor that did live in I did work for a DVM, and the clinic was in a very bad area of Flint. And we had to go in after hours for animals that were hospitalized. And he would say, please bring your spouse's boyfriends for protection, but he wouldn't pay them. And Alex did not like that, but he did it. But yeah, and I was like, okay, doc, anything for you, sure. And Alex is like, this is bullshit, man. I should be getting paid for this. And we were in a pretty bad area. Like there was like syringes on the sidewalk that didn't come from our clinic. So yeah.
I mean, I think it is amazing though to know like the things that we would do for very little or no pay, like at previous jobs, and then when we tell other people or we tell our spouses and they're like, "What? And you did that for like that much money or you did it for no money?" And we're like, "Yeah." And then they're like, "That's crazy." And then it's like we think about it and we just think it's so normal, but it's not. It's not normal at all. Oh
And
my
at the time I thought
gosh.
that was normal. I was like, yeah, I'm just doing my job. I'm helping, I'm doing, but I was dragging him, evenings and weekends to check on these hospitalized animals. And we were dating for like not even a year at that point.
Yeah, no, it wasn't even a year.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we were living on the other side, basically,
Yeah.
over in the not as drugged out part of Flint. So yeah.
Oh my god.
Jeez.
So it's better now, is what you're saying.
Oh yeah, it's much better. I mean, she can set her own schedule. She doesn't have to work late. I mean, of course, there's nights where I'm sure there's a chatty client or something, and there's a few nights, but overall, it's way better than actually when she was working in a clinic, because there was even like other DVMs that she worked with where it was like, oh, it's they close at 5 or whatever, and at 4:58, some buddy would walk in and they have a dog that's been sick for 3 weeks that if
Mhm.
they don't operate now they're going to die, and the doctor would say, oh well, it's fine with my personal life, so
Yep.
everybody else is clearly fine with their lives. And it would be Michelle get home at 7, 8, 9, sometimes later. And of course, then it's like, well, how do you plan things out, like we were kind of talking about earlier, when your schedule is dictated by somebody else and it can change on a whim every single day. I mean, it's not really set hours at that point. It's like, okay, yeah, you made an extra $15 or whatever pay they were doing at the time, yippee. But at the same time, it's like, well, good luck having a family or a social life. So
Right, and it's expected too. Brad didn't really have to deal with that part of my life. I did that in the beginning of my career, but I don't think he had to deal with that so much as at this stage of our relationship. But I know exactly what you're talking about, Alex, because I was doing the same thing. And, there were I remember specifically one day they were trying to figure out there was going to be a surgery done, and there was an assistant that had no anesthesia experience, and I wasn't even on the case, and I wasn't even with that doctor. And one of the girls just went, "Oh, Jen will just stay and help with it. She'll just monitor the anesthesia, and she can teach so and so." And I automatically at that point was like, excuse me, no. And I said that I was like, no, I'm not doing that. I have plans after work. And they were shocked that I said no, and I was shocked that I said no, because it was around one of the first times in my life that I was starting to actually realize, like, no, you guys can't do that. You can't just volunteer for me to do it. Like, no one even asked me. But it was so, like, normal. So, yeah. Thankfully, Brett didn't have to deal with that. It was just more of me, I just worked my butt off all the time because I was on my own and I had bills, and I just had to, and obviously, as we all know, everyone listening, and you, Alex and Brett, know, like, you don't make that much money in the vet field if you don't ask for it. So again, I was working all the time just to pay my bills. So yeah, it's different now. Oh, it's so much nicer now. Oh, so
Right. It's much nicer.
yes,
Ugh.
it's so different. Ugh, it's like black and white.
Okay. If I get to pick whatever one I want, it's definitely gonna be, what is the one thing you've learned about the veterinary industry from your wife of a vet tech? What's one thing she's taught you about the industry?
Thing. Jeez.
He's like, one.
Dogs aren't allowed to have bacon.
Hey, I was
Like,
gonna say chocolate and dogs don't mix for
yeah, I never knew
multiple
that.
level joke.
Because yeah, the first time we were camping, I was like, "Oh, Gingy, does she want some bacon?" And she's
And
like,
she was a
"Oh my
wiener
gosh,
dog.
she's gonna die of pancreatitis." And I learned what that is too. And so I was like, "What? They can't handle it. They'll just fail and die." I'm like, "Oh, okay, well." Because when I was a kid, I always fed my dog bacon. I didn't know nothing about that. So yeah, that's kind of the one thing that I learned. I mean, I've learned a lot of other things as well, but off the top of my head, that is the first thing that I learned when I started dating Jen. Yeah,
Was he couldn't feed the
It
dogs bacon.
yeah,
is a
I was
life-changing
very
thing to
upset
learn.
about it.
I mean, one of the things I guess I learned was you go to school, you put all this effort in, you I mean, it's pretty grueling, and then you come out the other end and you don't make anything to speak of. Everyone expects you to treat their animal for free, and if you don't treat their animal for free, it's not because of decisions they made, but decisions you made going into that field. And that one just surprises me because you don't ever see people telling doctors like, "Oh, you're not going to do it for free," or even a nurse. But anyone in the veterinary industry, it doesn't matter what level they're at. It's, "Oh, have some compassion." And it's like, well, I guess human doctors don't have compassion, or I mean, like, I don't know where the crossover ends, but it was one of the more surprising things because, usually you don't go to all this training and learn how to work on a different variety of animals and then basically get outpaid by someone that flips burgers down the street. That was a really surprising thing to learn,
Right.
especially with how much money the people at the top in the veterinary world make. So,
Tell him, honey.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think one of the conversations I even had with Brett when we first started dating, and we were talking about all of the things that I did, and he was like, "And how much money do you make?" And then I told him, and
Right.
he was like, "You make," he's like, "You should be making more money than I make." And I was like, "I mean, yeah, but that's not how it works." And he was shocked.
Right.
Like, he was shocked.
Yeah.
well, I mean, look at Better Call Saul. The veterinarian in that one had to like run a criminal
Oh
enterprise just
yeah.
to get food. So I mean,
Mhm.
yeah, that kind of tells you everything you need to know right there. That's the
Yep.
only way to be successful and make a lot of money in the industry, unless you're, one of the ones high up. So
Right.
Yeah, I feel
Mhm.
like vets
So,
and human nurses, they do a lot of the same things.
mhm.
An animal's trying to bite your face off. You're trying to like hold down this thing that does not want to be poked. Like humans, they're just like, okay, you can just stab me in the arm. I'm not gonna like punch you in the mouth or anything.
Well, sometimes they do.
Well,
Well, I mean,
yeah,
it's more
not as
compartmentalized too, though, in
right.
human medicine because you have radiologists, you have like, I mean, it's basically every single part of the process. There's like 10 different people that touch it, all of them
Mhm.
making more than a vet tech or anyone in the vet industry almost. And in the vet industry, it's you're doing all 10 of these jobs for basically a tenth the pay. I mean, if you want to do it that way. So, and then even just learning how little the DVMs make. Like you're like a full blown doctor at that point. I mean, you know, that's always like in the mob movies and all the. It's either an old retired like human doctor they always take the guy with the gunshot wound to, or a vet. And it's like, you know, even then it's the same, like it's clearly the same like skill set and level, but you then find out the vet makes like 60 grand a year or something. And you're like, what? Like that
Yeah,
is
yeah.
ridiculous. So yeah, it's very surprising.
Yeah. Yeah. I think Brett always gets scared whenever we're around like his friends or his family and they start making comments about, or they start asking me questions and he just immediately is just always like,
I'm like, oh no.
because he's like, he
Like,
knows I'm not going to sugarcoat anything. I'm not
yeah,
going
she
to,
doesn't
like,
have a
I don't care
filter.
about, hurting anyone's feelings, but
Right.
I will go on a rant. And he's like,
He'll,
oh, here we go. Here we go.
he'll
Okay.
spit facts at you faster than you can process what she's saying. That's for sure. It's just
Mhm.
scary to me. I'm like, oh, they're not gonna know how to answer, or they're just gonna be like, oh, geez, okay. Because she just gets so passionate about some of a lot of the stuff that she does.
Yeah, when Michelle first met some of my extended family,
Oh God.
there were a lot of hurt feelings and a lot of disappointment about things they could no longer feed the animals or things they should be doing to the animals or things they should be doing to the animals.
Things they
So-
should be doing. Let's
and-
emphasize that part.
And it was, oh, they loved it. You know, it's always, oh, I'm an animal lover or a dog lover. They just don't like to hear the facts about owning them or things you should probably do to help them out. Just as Brett mentioned, I mean, they love bacon, but probably
Right.
shouldn't feed them too much of it.
I love my animals, but they're feeding them bacon, so they're just slowly killing their animal.
Mhm. Yeah,
That's
but now
how
I
see
know
it.
like there's times too
Like,
where
oh,
like
geez.
he'll tell me like if he goes somewhere without me and he'll message me and he'll be like, "Oh, this happened, this was talked about." And I told them and I was like, "You told them what?" He's like, "I told them what you've told me." I was like, "Oh, okay." I would like to know
Yeah.
how that was explained.
Know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
What was it?
Yeah.
You said something about pancreatitis one time, but then you said it was something else.
Oh, I don't remember.
I don't remember either. But yeah, I was like, that is not pancreatitis.
Like, that's
Well, that was awesome, you guys. I think that we could wrap it up with that. We're about 30 minutes in. So I
Yeah.
think you guys did great. Good
perfect.
job.
Good
Look at that.
job.
Your first podcast.
No.
Yeah.
All right, you guys. Well, that's a wrap, and that's what we're gonna leave it at. Thank you, boys, for joining us this episode. It was fun. Maybe we'll do it again. Maybe it'll be like an annual thing, and then we'll just like keep the questions coming. Did you say no, Brad? Was that a shaking of the no? Shaking of
No,
your
there
head?
was a car driving by and I got
I
distracted.
thought, like you just suddenly were like, no, don't make me do this again.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks, you guys. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you so much for tuning in to Endless Journeys, the VetTech Odyssey podcast. We hope you enjoyed today's episode and found some valuable insights. If you did, be sure to subscribe so you never miss an episode. We'd love to hear your thoughts, so please leave us a review and let us know what you think. You can also connect with us on all social media platforms at Endless Journeys, the VetTech Odyssey podcast. Until next time, keep learning, keep growing, and keep making a positive impact in the veterinary world. We need you guys. Have a great day.